Feeling like a shark in a shrimp tank. Big fish, small pond in the shrimp tank.
Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to a special Shrimp Tang episode that we're doing today. I'm your co-host, Ted Jenkin, with my co-host, Lee Heisman.
Hey, Ted.
Is that your special downtown?
Special high voice, yeah,
your downtown greeting?
It's a little acapella, little.
Do you have like a midtown greeting and
hey,
a
Ted, what's
buckhead
happening?
greeting?
Yeah, hey, Ted. No, can't do it. Hey, how you doing, Ted? From Jersey.
Yeah.
For that one, absolutely. From
We need to say you need a section like that here in Atlanta. But we are down here today at the Loudermilk Conference Center. We're here for Teach for America. They're having a Shark Tank event, and there's nothing that Lee and I love more than seeing young, excited entrepreneurs, people that get out of bed every day and say, I'm going to make a change here in the city of Atlanta. I don't care if you got a blue-collar business or a white-collar business. Every week right here on the Shrimp Tank, we interview some of the brightest and best CEOs and entrepreneurs, executive directors, and we talk about what it's like to start, run, and grow a business. And for those of you that want to get an MBA in entrepreneurship and have a combination of street smarts and book smarts, this is where you get it. I'm not saying don't go to Georgia State and get an MBA or Kennesaw State. You can get one. But here you can learn hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars of advice from people that have done it. They've been in your shoes. They're getting, kicked in the stomach and knocking their head against the wall every day, and just part of being an entrepreneur. As always, make sure that you go to Spotify or iHeartRadio, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and download us. We're at 25,000 downloads a month right now. People are tuning into the podcast all the time. Lee and I hear people say, hey, we heard that episode, or love
Ted,
that
we're getting close to
entrepreneur.
1 million downloads cumulatively over the past 7 years.
Yeah. And if you got a sleep problem, make sure you listen to Dr. Michael Bruce. We had him on, the #1 sleep doctor in the country, which is a problem for a lot of entrepreneurs. But we've got some great entrepreneurs here today. We've got Tamir Mickens and Megan Areen. They are the co-founders of Culturally Relevant Science. I knew it was going to be a mouthful. CRsci.org. You got to check it out. And I want to start this out because it's near and dear to my heart. Last 9 months of my life, I've been involved in Leadership Atlanta, and I was assigned a project. Mine was called the Steam Truck. And for people that don't know what STEAM or STEM is, I'm going to have you talk about it more than me, but I have to tell you something, like watching kids getting outside the classroom, having someone come on site, and literally what I saw 2 weeks ago was kids learning about putting rockets into the air. Mm-hmm. And I watched them take PVC tubing. I watched them put cardboard paper around it. I watched them build, basically tap on like a foam head to the rocket. And then there was a machine that they could jump on it as hard as they could. Mm-hmm. And the harder they jumped, you see these kids be like, I launched my rocket into the air. So tell us about how you started this nonprofit, what you do, and how you're impacting the lives of kids here in Atlanta.
Absolutely. So Culturally Relevant Science was officially launched July 11th, 2021, and we officially incorporated as a 501c3 in March of 2022. And our aim is to increase academic achievement and engagement for students of color in STEM.
Yeah.
Actually, I changed that. Students in underserved communities. So we've been trying to branch out past race and get into socioeconomic status, sexual orientation, religion, all of those things. And we primarily do this through digital content and providing STEM exposure of field trips and professional development for teachers in those communities.
What does that look like when you say a field trip? What does that look like, to what am I expect my kid to do? I mean, certainly they're not getting out a Bunsen burner or something like that, right? What do they do on a field trip?
Yeah, so we kind of added this service when we realized we couldn't just do curriculum. We had to, and you said this before when we were talking earlier, they have to see it, they have to feel it, they have to be exposed to it to really know what it means to pursue a career in that. So our field trips, not only do they go, say, to the aquarium, but we add on career tours, we add on animal training shows for them to really see, like, how, I could walk around the aquarium, but, like, how can I apply this to what I would do in the future? And the aquarium does a great job. They have tours for, like, kids who want to go to college to be like a vet and stuff like that, but they also have tours for kids who want to go to trade school, so plumbing jobs, doing the lighting, fixing the water temperature, stuff like that. So we put kids on a tour for that, and high schoolers especially, like if you expose them to that, then they can be like, okay, then I can go make money in STEM. Because we say, go pursue a career in STEM. What does that look like? What can I do in Atlanta in my backyard? And that's what our field trips consist of.
So just for listeners out there, and again, I have three children currently, and two of them are already gone through. STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it all applies back to this. But something I know the entrepreneurs are going to want to hear about, and there's no question, is you look at your status, which is an unbelievable status, 501c3. I mean, that's an official nonprofit. How exactly? And again, you just say, oh, I just happened to get it. It doesn't work that easy.
No.
Our previous guest, Claudine, when we talked about her business, said, oh, I started the business, didn't know what I was doing. I would have never done it if I knew what was going to happen.
Doesn't that sound like most business owners? I started, I didn't know what I was getting into.
But I love that you became a 501c3. So you launched, and you knew the date, July 11th. You didn't even hesitate on that date. And I think you said, maybe I'm wrong, March, that you became a 501c3. Talk about that process and why that was important.
Yeah, so we had to file because we needed grants, right? And a lot of grants won't give you money if you're not an official 501c3. So actually one of the contestants tonight, Rayoni, I hit her up. I was like, hey, how do I file? Because she knew how to file. She gave me 3 steps. We filed. We became one. And then we could apply for all the grants we wanted.
See, take a lesson real quick, entrepreneurs out there. Think about this. You knew somebody, you have a contact, you reached out, you leveraged your network, and that's what we talk about in entrepreneurship.
Absolutely.
You guys are working hard on this, but you're leveraging your relationships, and you said, hey, wait, you know what to do. Give me that guidance, and that's a lesson learned for all entrepreneurs. I'm sure that you have a close circle of advisors like that give you guidance. Is that accurate?
Absolutely. Megan spearheads a lot of that because I'm really not organized. So like, even when we competed in Shark Tank last year, like she applied. So she reached out to Rayani about 501c3 status. But that network, that's invaluable. We've been afforded so many opportunities and had so many coaches and so many mentors that just keep our network growing and expanding to just give us pointers, tell us what we should do, what you need to stay away from, what will be difficult, what won't be. So that could be the most valuable thing, just leaning on all of those connections.
I would love for you to share with the audience because a 501c3, in effect, really is a business. And what did it cost to actually get it going, to set up the 501c3? And then I know there are different models. Some 501c3s work on grants. Some may have revenue partnerships. How did you decide the structure? Because like any business, you could do whatever you want to do to make this a greater place in this world. But if you don't have money to do it, it's going to be really hard. So how did you set? And then how do you fund this thing on an ongoing basis? How do you keep it going?
We're still figuring that out. So
true entrepreneurs figure it out along the way.
Yeah, I mean, like our business model changes because we're still fairly young. You know, like you said, like official 501c3 March. It hasn't just became a year. And so we honestly, when we started, we didn't even know we could have revenue as a nonprofit. So that's something we had to learn. Like, well, we say we're nonprofit. It says nonprofit. So like, can we make profit? So we had to learn that, and then we realized you can do both. You can be a nonprofit and still have revenue streams. And then we kind of we're just taking it day by day.
So what's this grant process look like? Because, obviously a lot of people think about 501c3s like the American Cancer Society, and they get huge donations, and there's breast cancer awareness, and everyone wears pink for a month.
Oh no,
well, that's not happening.
It is
for you
not
guys
huge
right
donations over here.
So how do you get a grant? How did you even know how to apply for grants and how to get that money?
There's just a variety of grants available. There are very large grants from foundations and corporations. There are small grants from just community-based organizations that range from 1,000 to 50,000. And just we've been trying to build up our statistics to where we can go after some of those very large grants.
This is like the Arthur Blank Foundation or Bernie Marcus?
Things like that, Nike or something. That was one that we went for.
Yeah, so there are those big grants, and you have to have the numbers to do that. But the Georgia Center for Nonprofits, they send out a monthly list of grants you can apply for. And so that's a very good resource. Once you set up GuideStar and you become a 501c3, you get connected with the Georgia Center of Nonprofits. And every month, whether you want it or not, they'll email you all the grants available for that month and tell you the deadlines, tell you how much
There's nothing like experience, right?
Yeah.
You didn't know that day one, and you're talking now like you're such a professional in this.
Oh, really?
Because, the way that you're talking about, you have to do this, and this is how you go through this process. I really love what you said, Tamir, is you spoke of something originally, and then you corrected yourself and said, look, we were going and shooting after the area of color. and then we pivoted to the underrepresented community. And I want to know, how did that transition happen? At what point did you realize, well, you know what, there's more than just a certain race that I want to focus on? How did you evolve with that?
It's in the name. So culturally relevant, and this is something that is a very big misconception whenever you're talking about culture. Oh, that's about race. No, culture is so much. It's the food that we eat. It's where we live. It's language. It's experience.
Yeah.
And something that's culturally relevant could just be talking about age. It could be talking about, I don't know what this generation is called, Z? Yes, Generation Z. It could be things that they have in common that we're trying to make relevant for them, and that transcends race. It could just be demographic by area or region.
Yeah, geographically.
All of those things play into culture and making it relevant to all culture, so that transcends race in such a huge way. And with this, I don't want to say witch hunt. Well, yeah, this witch hunt for like CR, like T, and people are thinking like critical race theory. So, no, this is cultural relevance.
I love
that. And just making sure we keep that in our, like that vision clear, that we're trying to reach all, those that are underserved.
Underserved,
right?
absolutely.
So that particular aspect of culture. And that there are so many underserved communities within that umbrella.
It's not even the underserved people, it's the underserved communities, really.
Absolutely.
So it's almost with respect I'm just listening to you, the people's demographic themselves are not as relevant as the community. It's the people within that community.
And you got to think about what makes a person, right? Like, even if you have race, you still have gender, you have sexual orientation, you have socioeconomic status. So that's something when we were forming, we had to consider, like, yes, we want more black and brown kids in science, but also you have black female students, right? You have black queer students, you have poor black students, right? So that's something that cultural relevance had to become, because you're not only what you look like, you go into all these other boxes that people try to put you in.
Ted, STEM is so important, and you saw it firsthand. And we talked earlier, with Claudine, and the fact of, 51% is the socioeconomic background, their personalities, not just, the mathematics or the engineering, the classes, the A's and the B's. But Ted talked about the STEM and how interactive it is. How impactful do you find that to be for these students? Because they maybe never get a chance to talk about launching a rocket or even how they would go and do that.
You're absolutely right. And I think out of all of the core subjects, science should be the one where that joy is found. It should not be your classroom and a textbook and your teacher in front of the board. And students want to see the experiments. I mean, when I think about, I'm a physics teacher, and students have this, I can call it a stereotype of what science is, and they're just always like, when are we going to blow something up? But that's where it lies. Like, that's the hook. So if you can, play onto that joy that students have for making things and playing with things.
Do you blow things up, Tamir?
No.
You don't just the first day. You should
have like a MacGyver class or something like that where you blow stuff up.
But with rockets, that definitely plays into my physics course. But they are always just like, when are we going to blow something up? And I'm like, no.
Tamir, that should be your first. Every day, the first day, you walk outside, you blow it up, and say, cool, no more questions.
I would take that if I wasn't leaving my school.
Okay, fair. But you just get out of the way. Day one, 30 minutes, I'd walk you outside, boom, I blow something up, and we say, we done?
And
all right, let's get back to class. Don't ever ask me again.
Right.
Tamir, come on.
No,
I love that.
My 2 cents.
I do.
I love that.
That's what I would do.
I just donated while we were on here. For people that are listening, you can go right to their website. There's a simple button called Donate. It hooks right into your PayPal or crypto account. No crypto. No crypto account. They'll take Bitcoin, ETH, whatever it is. You want to get rid of some of the polka dot, get rid of it.
True.
But it's such a great cause, because one of the things I learned in here, and I had not considered this as much as I was going through Leadership Atlanta, and especially I think in STEM and STEAM that I see now, is this concept of having role models. Because, you're a white person in America. You didn't think about it because almost everybody you saw an executive job or was a president of a company, they were white.
Absolutely.
And I think white people often don't realize that, everybody needs a role model. And whether you're Latino or you're black or brown or whatever it may be, having a role model like, what, that person looks like me, that could be me. It is so impactful to kids when they're young. How do you find role models to to try to keep those kids that you're talking to and saying, this is what it looks like. Because when people see that path, they can run to it. When they can't, well, it's no wonder a lot of people never went there. I couldn't see what it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, for me, in my experience as a teacher, I make the student their own role model, right? So it's all about putting them in it, making them do it, and letting them see, like, they can do it. Absolutely. Because if we're not going to have the videos out there that shows them, which we are making the videos out there that shows them that if they're not out there yet and consistent, like, cool, you can do it. You can be it. So we actually have a bunch of videos on our YouTube channel where we called some of our students up and, like, they stay after school and they do the experiment and we record them. And now other kids can watch kids that look like them, sound like them, dress like them.
Right. Because you see that in that socioeconomic thing that you brought up, there are a lot of neighborhoods that people in Atlanta have never been to. And if they went there, and sometimes, and we saw this even when I grew up in New Jersey, that it's like, well, why does somebody live here, grew up here, took a job right near here? Because it couldn't see what it could be.
Absolutely.
And when you're younger, you're a kid, you're a teenager, like the power of that and getting in your mind, especially when we're at such a shortage of people in technology and engineering. Talk about the jobs that are available. You don't even have to go to college, right? And you could become a coder. Right. And the coding jobs pay what? $60, $80, $100,000. You don't have to have a college degree, right? You could take a coding course. And do you do any of that kind of stuff? Do you teach kids about that?
Not coding directly. That's something we definitely want to get into. And so to that network piece that we were discussing earlier, like Rayoni, she does 3D Girls Inc. So when we have our female students that actually are interested in that, we can direct them towards that nonprofit that works on that. We also have been mentoring a robotics team, an elementary school robotics team, to where we can give our feedback to the projects that they are working on in competition. And that's how we're giving back in that realm. But we definitely want to push on that side. And that's what we've been trying to do with the STEM exposure experiences. But if we can branch out with funding and just get more, bumping shoulders with someone who
rubbing the elbows, bumping
have
the
us
shoulders.
Bring the kids in and show them what coding is and like what they can do and how this is not something that you need to go to 10 years of school for. Like, you can do this now.
Exactly. So I got to jump in, Ted, because I know there's a show that's going to be launching pretty soon over there in the other room. So as we go to wrap this up, guys, I ask a simple question, and you said it best, Tamir, when you said, I'm not good at this. That's why you're able to do it, right? So having a partnership is really important. And for most entrepreneurs out there, a lot of our listeners always wonder, do I open it myself? Do I have a partner? And what's nice is when you have a partner, you're offsetting each other's skills, right? If you guys are identical, the partnership may not work because you both can do it. So I am going to throw some low-hanging fruit here, Ted. I have to ask this, and we always say our plead the fifth section, where you guys get to plead the fifth one time.
I'm ready.
If you don't want to. And I'd say, if I started with you guys and asked, what is the one thing you'd change about your partner? What would it be?
I can go.
Yeah,
I have
you
one.
didn't hesitate.
I have one. Because I saw this in the email, and I was like, I got one.
Yeah,
and I'm sure he knows.
Cat got my tongue.
I know he knows what it is.
Okay.
I wish he would just answer his phone more.
All right.
That's it.
Yeah.
What you got going on with the phone?
Oh, my goodness. I don't even know if
I say I'm going to buy him a pager, so it's like just for me.
I could fill up this room of people that would say the same thing. So I don't know if I'm going to share the link anymore because they're going to be all in the comments. Yeah, I wish he'd answer his phone too.
Exactly. So, how about you, Tamir? What would you say is the one thing you'd change? Megan's brutal honesty.
Am I going to plead the fifth? I don't know. I don't want to be.
Yeah, choose your words
being
carefully.
So organized and having us on time for things. I don't know. Exactly.
That's a nice compliment. That's a nice compliment. And they're not even married, right? You got no, because if you have a husband and wife duo, it is funny because the wives, with respect, will always. Oh yeah, let me just tell you, boom, exactly what it is. And I've had the husbands go, there's nothing I could change.
I mean, we're kind of like married now.
You're business married, which is the way to be.
Absolutely.
What's the biggest mistake you made starting this 501c3?
Not charging what we're worth.
Yeah, well, that for entrepreneurs that listen to the program, it is one of the biggest things that we see in all businesses is underestimating your value.
Yes.
And it's hard to raise your prices. It's easier to bring them down, but you don't always know where to price it because you're like, we need business to get this started.
Absolutely.
And then you're like, wait a minute, it's going to be double. And
So Claudine Miles, who was just on here, her and her partner are basically our coaches, our mentors. So they'll take us out to dinner or breakfast, and they'll just tell us like what our price is, what we should charge, and Like you leave a dinner with them, you have like 5 pages of notes.
No way.
Yeah.
That's and that's smart, guys. And that's another thing we talk to entrepreneurs with. And you talked about it. Who do you surround yourself with? And you have mentors like that. You can't ask for anything more.
You're absolutely right.
So, guys, how do people get in touch with you? How did they get in touch to learn more about what you're doing, and how just to get in touch, not only to learn about your business, but if they want words of wisdom from you, because you guys are mentors for other people as well.
Yep. Well, they can go to www.CRsci.org. We have a contact us page there where they can reach out, leave a comment.
And that's CRsci.
Yes, CRsci.org, absolutely. So they can reach out. We'll see it. We'll respond. If they want to have a conversation, if they want to donate, whatever it is that they want to know, they can reach us there. We're also on all social media, so Twitter, Instagram.
You said you have YouTube videos that you can look at as well.
We're super heavy on social media because a lot of our content is digital.
What is your handle on YouTube? Is it?
CRsci.
CRsci. Wonderful.
Listen, it's not that hard. You just open your computer and go to the website. I click the donate button, tie it to your PayPal account or whatever it is. It took you 5 minutes to donate some money.
And we appreciate that.
Get whatever it is, $25, $50, $100. I mean, listen, thanks so much, seriously, for making a difference in the lives of kids, and helping people see that there is a bigger, better, brighter future out there. It's a very noble cause. Keep up the great work.
You all keep up the great work.
Well, we're having fun. Listen, our job always has been on here to spread the word about being an entrepreneur and knowing that if you're going to donate or spend money with local businesses, profit or nonprofit, it only makes our community here stronger, better. Atlanta's a great city already, but we got to make it greater, and the work that you're doing is going to continue to do that. So thanks so much for doing this today. Congratulations on winning the Shark Tank.
Oh, thank you.
Are you all judges tonight or no?
No.
We will just be watching.
We came for y'all.
Because they won, they're going to hand the trophy out at the end.
Yep.
Well, thanks so much, and thanks everybody for listening to a special broadcast tonight at the Loudermilk Conference Center. As always, if you came in late or you don't catch all of this, simply go to shrimptankpodcast.com. Download us, as always, at Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, or Spotify, and listen to these entrepreneurs. Whether you're going to do a nonprofit or for-profit, it's a business. It's not easy. We all have these stories, but we can learn from each other to become better entrepreneurs here in Atlanta. Thanks for listening to this episode of The Shrimp Tank.
I've been feeling like a shark in a shrimp tank. Big fish, small pond.